A group of Yautja predators just recruited Kraven the Hunter to hunt the Earth into extinction. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Today we're jumping into the first issue of Predator Kills the Marvel Universe, which is the culmination of Marvel's Predator series. It's a 5-issue miniseries, and I'll tell you right now, it's off to an amazing start. Like I said, this title is going to bring together all the events out of Marvel's Predator vs. Wolverine, Predator vs. Black Panther, and Predator vs. Spider-Man titles, essentially making this the Avengers book of the Predator series, so to speak, where all those individual arcs are wrapping up in this final 5-issue big world story. So if you were digging all those solo titles and you wanted to know how the Predators would fare against the entire Marvel Universe, this is the title for you. Alright, so the issue starts off with the Guardians of the Galaxy flying through space in their ship, the Milano. There we see Rocket say to a sleeping Quill, "Somebody's in trouble. You hearing this, Quill?" But Quill just keeps on snoring and doesn't budge, so Rocket gets louder saying, "Earth to Quill." But that also doesn't work, so he smacks him on the shoulder, at which point Quill wakes up and says, "I was having the most incredible dream. You were a chipmunk, Rocket, a little itty-bitty chipmunk, and I'd carry you around in my pocket." Rocket just cuts him off and says, "Shut up and listen," to which a startled Peter replies saying, "You never talked to me that way when you were a chipmunk." Rocket just ignores the joke and says, "We're getting pinged by an emergency beacon. Registration belongs to Stark Industries. Mining ship. Must be an extraction operation on one of Saturn's moons." So Peter jumps in and hails the ship saying, "This is Peter Quill with the Milano. Do you copy?" A voice then replies over comms, "Help. Hardware malfunction. Adrift." Peter confirms with, "Roger that. Help is on the way. Request permission to dock." They then obviously grant that permission, and Rocket says to Quill, "Part of me wants to let that smarmy billionaire Stark take care of his own mess." To which Peter replies, "We're not rescuing the swarmy billionaire, Rocket. We're rescuing the gearheads and diggers who do all the dirty work for the swarmy billionaire." But before leaving in the Milano, Groot, Gamora, and Drax ask them if they need any help. Drax specifically asks, "Do you need me to kill anything?" But Peter tells him, "Negative, Drax. Everyone can chill. Looks like a mechanical problem. The equivalent of a flat tire." Which of course doesn't interest Drax at all, and he tells Peter it sounds boring and stupid like him. Anyway, after this, Peter and Rocket enter the ship with Peter saying, "Where's our heroes? Welcome. Maybe I should introduce myself as Star-Lord?" But as they keep walking down an empty corridor, Rocket says, "I don't like this." Peter agrees, saying, "That's what I'm saying. I mean, we're the Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a little below our pay grade." But at this point, things take a turn, with both Peter and Rocket seeing laser sights on their chest, the Predator's laser sights. Rocket looks down and says, "What the?" But it's too late, because on the next panel, a blast from Predator's cannon takes out Peter's midsection, ripping him in half. Rocket completely freaks out, looking down at Quill's body saying, "Quill, no," as we see the Predator staring at Rocket through his heat vision. Rocket then wildly fires back, but obviously it's to no avail because he doesn't even know what he's shooting at. The next page takes us back inside the Milano, where Gamora thinks she hears something. Groot responds with a typical "I am Groot," but Drax says, "Does this mean I get to kill something?" But before he has a chance to do anything, even finish that sentence, his head is taken off, followed by Groot being blasted in half and Gamora's arm being taken clean off, as we see two Predators with a guy in a skull mask walking up to them as they say, "You see? I told you." They blindly answered the call for help. That's what makes them such easy prey. And as this guy takes off the skull mask, we see that it's Kraven, and he says, "Let the great hunt begin, and let Kraven be the spearhead." Which of course is the big reveal that Kraven is now working with the Predators to take out the heroes in the Marvel Universe. And I will say, if you've already read Predator vs. Spider-Man, then you already know why this is happening. If not, you really need to check out that series, because it's amazing.
Speaking of, the FanX Salt Lake Comic Convention is coming up September 25th through the 27th, and over 100 celebrity guests from fandom will be there. So if you're not already planning to go, you definitely should. I'm talking stars from The Boys, Marvel, DC, Doctor Who, Vampire Diaries, Schitt's Creek, Star Wars, WWE, and more. But beyond meeting stars, FanX offers hundreds of different panels, Q&As, and workshops where you can learn about voice acting, writing, cosplay techniques, or dive deep into discussions about your favorite franchises. It's a chance to engage with creators and your fellow fans in a way you won't forget. And that's because FanX is designed for everyone, from seasoned convention veterans to families looking for a fun weekend. In fact, kids 10 and younger are free with an adult ticket, and FanX will have KidCon ready and waiting for them. It's a safe environment with a wide range of content, so everyone can celebrate pop culture and create some unforgettable memories. Not to mention, the massive vendor floor is the perfect place for collectors and shoppers. You'll find exclusive merch, rare comics, original artwork, and a ton more, so don't miss it. Again, the FanX Salt Lake Comic Convention is happening from September 25th through the 27th at the Salt Palace Convention Center, with tickets tickets available now at fanxsaltlake.com. And if you use our code VARIANT, you'll save 20% on all ticket types. Just click our link in the description below and get ready for a great time at FanX.
Okay, so on the next page of issue 1, we're taken to the Weapons Plus facility in Virginia, where we see General Charlotte Pett land in a helicopter to meet Dr. Cornelius. She says, "Thank you for accommodating my request for a visit." He replies, "Oh, was it a request? I was under the impression that it was a command. If it was indeed a request, then I'll have to turn you away because I'm terribly busy." But they just continue to walk inside the Weapons Plus facility as she tells him, "You'd be smart to be a little more accommodating. There are a lot of cuts being considered right now, and the Weapons Plus discretionary fund is eating up $1 billion and change a year. You're in the business of delivering weapons. You haven't delivered any prototypes in over a year." Dr. Cornelius then has his retina scan to open up a vault door as he says, "As I've mentioned, I've been terribly busy." But as the door opens, she tells him, "I need to know what we're paying for." He then tells her, "Then by all means, take a look." So she walks through the door he just opened while saying, "I better be impressed. You're on the chopping block." But once she's inside, he closes the door on her saying, "I'm sorry, did you say it was I who was on the chopping block?" And while I have no idea why she's shocked, she turns around and screams at Cornelius to open the door. But it's too late once again as she realizes something or someone is behind her. And when she turns around, she sees it's a predator in the infamous Weapon X helmet and electronics that we mostly associate with Wolverine. This is just an incredible callback and a really dope image by these creators. Anyway, as Dr. Cornelius says over the intercom, "General Pett, meet Predator X." From here, we're taken to space as captions say only 1% of planets are potentially habitable. You could say that Earth won the cosmic lottery, but the thing about winning the lottery is you become a target. This is followed by a Predator ship landing on the moon, with captions continuing to say, "Others want what you have. The Yautja wants what Earth has." Then on the next page, the captions continue as we see Kraven with 2 Predators by his side approach the Predator King's throne. The narration continues to tell us the Predator King is here to claim Earth, first as a preserve and then as a home. The planet has been cooking itself with chemicals and industry, heating up, and the Yautja like it hot. And who better to lead the charge to hunt the planet to extinction than the ultimate hunter, Kraven. He had killed one of the deadliest predators of them all, a Yautja known as Skinner, and a hunting party had marked him as a sign of respect, as one of their own, as seen in Predator vs. Spider-Man. For close to a year, he had been living among them, studying their ways, teaching them Earths, but he was still learning. And as we see the son of the Predator King take out one of their weapons, a vibranium weapon, the captions continue to say, "This was the son of the Predator King, who was known by a name that roughly translated to graveyard, and who armed and armored himself in Wakandan vibranium, as we saw in Predator vs. Black Panther." So as we said right from the start, this book is going to be the culmination of all the different Marvel Predator versus books that we've gotten over the past 2 years or so. Anyway, the narration continues to tell us Kraven still had much to prove, and he would kneel when addressing their king. But he didn't know he was supposed to kneel, so the Predator's son made that abundantly clear and forces him to his knees with his weapon. We then see him kneel before the Predator King, and he tells him, "You requested a list, a kill list, so I give you this." He then presses a button on the Predator arm gauntlet he's wearing while saying, "Here's a roster of all the greatest threats on Earth. We will need to work surgically, tracking down the strongest one by one, and then we can take our time with the rest. I have only one request. This trophy belongs to me." As Kraven brings it all full circle and shows the king an image of Spider-Man. Anyway, from here we're taken to the blue area of the moon, specifically the Luthor crater, where the Fantastic Four are residing. We then see the Fantastic Four sitting in one of their viewing rooms, staring back at Earth while drinking coffee. As Reed says, "One of my computations, you know, the one that anticipates world-threatening disasters, the doomsday algorithm, it's been triggered." To which Sue replies, "It was also triggered yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that. Can I ask you, my dear husband, how often is the world not in danger of being destroyed?" But because Reed Richards' brain is just different, he answers 2.73% of the time, but only if we're limiting the algorithm's parameters to imminent disasters. And the completely unsurprised Sue just says, "You know, I have work to do, Reed. We all do. There's never not something happening that requires our attention." But Reed just ignores that and tells Johnny, "Bump this up to 150 degrees precisely, would you?" While handing Johnny his coffee. Johnny then puts his finger in it and does exactly that, as Sue says, "That's disgusting." But Reed tells her, "Not particularly. No matter where Johnny's finger has been, I assure you the fire kills the germs." He then drinks his coffee and says, "A perfect cup of coffee. There's nothing like it." This causes Sue to laugh, saying, "Listen, what I'm trying to get at is, if we never took a minute to slow down, we'd never know what we're working so hard for." So Reed chills out for a second and tells her, "You're right, of course," while simultaneously getting Thing some sugar for his coffee so he can enjoy it too. But as he stretches his arm to the kitchen to get some sugar, something grabs his arm. Reed then starts screaming, and as blood starts going everywhere, Reed screams, "The algorithm was right." And on the next page, we see something has severed Reed's arm. And we quickly learn what that is because captions from Kraven say, "The Fantastic Four are, as a team, especially dangerous to to your goals. But Kraven continues, they are currently on the moon, yes, so they have the perspective to warn the world of our arrival, and they're extraordinarily dangerous. Reed Richards is the smartest man alive. Sue Storm might be one of the most powerful people on the planet, but it's more than that. They're a family. That probably won't translate. You likely don't understand what I mean when I say this. I have yet to see evidence of love among you, but it has something to do with intense cooperation and coordination. So we have to break them quickly before they can unite, and Sue Storm should be the primary target. For invisibility is irrelevant given your ability to pick up on heat signatures, but her force field will protect her. The Thing and the Human Torch are more accessories to Reed and Sue. Directionless on their own, but formidable as part of an arsenal. When you're a wolf pack hunting for elk, you startle the herd, and then you pick off your prey individually in the chaos that follows. Separate them, divide them, figuratively and literally. And the panels show the predators doing exactly that, starting with Johnny. They use a vibranium cable to wrap around his neck and strangle him. The predators then go after the Thing as he screams, "Johnny!" But when the predators emerge from the fire with Kraven, Kraven tells them, do not under any circumstances allow yourself into close quarter combat with the Thing. He's the very definition of brute force. You'll lose. Keep him distant. So the son of the Predator King hits him with vibranium energy, and he continues to blast the Thing as Kraven says, you will have to do without your trophy. I believe him to be nearly indestructible. Removal is the best strategy, as the Thing is blasted into space. Then with the Thing and the Human Torch off the board, the Predators set their sights on Sue and Reed, as we see Sue carrying Reed to safety while he tells her, Sue, I've lost an estimated 2 liters of blood, so I'm going to lose consciousness in the next 10 seconds. But she just tells him, stop talking and keep your strength. But he replies, no, this is important. Whoever they are, they didn't cut me with steel or even adamantium. They couldn't have. There had to be a powerful energy discharge accompanying the cut to disrupt the tensile strength of my skin on an atomic level. Sue then puts Reed down saying, stay with me, Reed, but he continues on saying, it had to be highly sophisticated tech, bound together with vibranium. But a very frightened Sue, who realizes her husband is dying, says, rest, my love. Rest. And with that, issue 1 comes to a close. All right, so needless to say, this series is off to a fantastic start, and I, for one, cannot wait to see where it goes from here. The fact that Kraven, the best hunter on Earth, is now working with the Predators, the best hunters in the galaxy, to take out the entire Marvel Universe is one of the coolest ideas Marvel has had in a very long time. And Benjamin Percy has just been killing it with all these Predator titles, so I'm really excited to see how he wraps it all up. Anyway, if you guys are enjoying these books as much as we are, let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Otherwise, we will see you next time when we talk about all things comics.